who am I? You mostly know me as Finance Fergie. It's my main brand that I've been running for over 2 years now. We've had lots of viral posts, lots of posts which are top ranked on multiple hashtags in like the personal finance and investing niche. So this has kind of driven a lot of people towards my page. I manage a few other pages as well, but not as big as Finance Fergie, which is kind of my main time investment. Recently, even just in preparing for this webinar, we've had to change the title multiple times just because the growth like this past week has been absolutely crazy. You can see we're up 45% just on followers in the past 30 days, which is yeah really amazing growth, and it's a couple of things which I've been implementing which have worked really well. So today we're going to cover kind of my tips if I was starting again from zero, some of the things I'm doing to achieve growth on my page, and hopefully yeah this be a few things you guys can implement as well for your own pages. So why bother with an Instagram page? I think especially within my niche, like financial education, it is the future of kind of spreading awareness, and every brand will want to be getting in front of an audience which is already interested in that specific niche, because it's way more effective marketing to know that if you have 40,000 followers on an investing page, they're the perfect clients really for brands to work with. So I think there's a lot of potential to make money, but also just yeah, to grow your personal kind of brand, spread educational content, or whatever your goal is with your page. It's great as well. I think with mine, I've been able to network with people who are like-minded or interested in the same thing, and we're able to learn from each other, which is the great thing about Instagram. It's kind of a professional tool as well as just a kind of social media platform. You get to meet other great people. If I was starting again, I think my experience is the first 1,000 took the longest and was the hardest grind. Um, Mainly because you're starting to kind of figure out what you're doing, and I think you're trying to get a basis of people who are going to come back every day to see your posts. Um, and that could take a long time to build up. It could be whether it's like you might even have to do follow for follow, or just reaching out to other creators who are similar size, so you can kind of utilize each other's following. One thing that I recommend as well that helped me a lot was finding out who the biggest pages were in that niche, and then turning on notifications so that you could be the first person to comment. Being the first person to comment means your comment is more likely to kind of show up first on their page if people like it. This could be like if it's an account with like 800,000 followers and you're the top comment on one post, that could direct maybe even 100 people to your page, which is a great way to kind of grab a bit of their audience. And I think with less than 1K, staying consistent is the hardest part as well, because the results will be a bit slow to start with, but that's completely normal. You just have to stick with it. Once you get above 1K, it starts to get a bit easier, because now you can you have the foundations really to get those people who will show up every day to comment and like your posts. You kind of start to build your own brand voice as well. I think as you get bigger, you can spend less time engaging with other people, more time engaging with your own community. And obviously, once you get over 5K, this is kind of the exponential growth stage of where you've got plenty of people kind of in your community already, which can help basically make your posts go viral, which we'll get into a bit later. But yeah, I think once you're over 5K, my experience is now is kind of the time to start promoting your actual product service. And then hopefully as well, you get to spend more time with your own community, less time engaging with other people, because you've already got the basis. So how does the algorithm work? This is from what I've experienced, but also what I've researched as well. The Instagram algorithm can be somewhat unpredictable, but in the basics, this is how it works. So after you publish a post, it'll basically show it to a small percentage of people, usually your own followers. Depending on if they like, save, and comment, it will then push it to more people. And if it keeps up that high engagement rate, it will push it to people who don't follow you, which is where the growth comes from. So especially the first few hours after you hit publish, you want to keep doing as much as possible to get the engagement up. So that could be like replying to all the comments. Just you need to show Instagram that the metrics are higher than average. So that means people need to be saving the post more than what they usually would. and engaging with it in some kind of way. So that means that your posts need to give people a reason to kind of refer back to it in future, but also to leave a comment. So it could be something where you're covering a topic which people find controversial, which obviously encourages people to leave their own opinions in the comment section, and that's just seen as more engagement, and the more engagement, the more it's pushed. Um, so how do you design engaging posts? For me, I've tested my last 50 posts. I put into a spreadsheet and then just tracked which ones perform the best by theme and by kind of design as well. So you can see on the theme and, and by the amount of non-followers which viewed the post. Obviously, the top two posts there were visual posts, and the worst performing posts were tweets. And yeah, as you can see here, the worst posts always tend to be the ones on the left, which are text heavy, and the ones on the right, which always do the best. Those two examples there were like some of my best posts, just because I think they're more visual. They're just more eye-catching. So this is kind of my recipe for success. As you can see on the right, is all of my top performing posts. It's usually ones with a big title at the top, which is going to stand out and capture people's attention. And then the main body of the post is some sort of graph, table, or some sort of visual representation of what I'm trying to get across, or even just like a few icons. I think, yeah, this is just because when you're scrolling through Instagram, if you imagine from like a consumer's perspective, why would someone click on your post over someone else's? Is when you're scrolling through the explore page, like on the right here, which one would you click on? I think naturally with our like very short attention spans nowadays, it's going to be the posts which are easy to understand. If it looks too complicated, you'll just brush past it. Also, if it's just a bunch of text, no one's going to bother reading it. So I think if you want to achieve growth, really have to take into account that things need to be displayed in a visual way. Give people a reason to click onto it rather than clicking onto other people's posts. Why is this? Yeah, like I said, it's people have short attention span now. They want to consume content quickly. People don't bother reading something which is long and boring. Even just a little bit of color, because you can see this post on the right, 7 types of income. I gave every little box a different color, and it's one of my best performing posts ever. I think the color just makes it stand out, but just makes it more interesting as well. Like more eye-catching, more likely to stop people scrolling. More, and then once people stop and look at the post, they're more likely to comment and share, which is super important, obviously, to get people to comment, share, and save the post. There is obviously the danger if you just keep designing posts which are viral. It's sometimes not the best way to provide more detailed content. So I think, for example, with my existing followers, is there a way to reach them to get across like a more in-depth, or like if I want to go into more of a deep analysis on a subject without like negatively impacting my growth? I think that's why something like a podcast might be better, because if I post like a long detailed analysis into something, that it just probably won't get in front of anyone, because the algorithm, as I said, is tailored towards creating content which is going to go viral. But obviously viral content isn't the best for getting into detail of something. It's more of just presenting something visually. But yeah, I think using your Instagram insights is super important. If you convert your account to a professional account, you can use things like the professional dashboard and the post insights here. So under every post, I'd usually wait about 24 to 48 hours to have a look at the post insights. And what I'm looking for when I look in the post insights is how many people has the post reached, and specifically want to get the post in front of as many non-followers as possible. So as you can see here, the example one is like a post where it's only reached 4,000 people and only 1,000 were people who didn't follow me already. The post on the right, 100,000 people and 88,000 people didn't follow me. So 78,000 of those people were from the explore page. The reason that post on the right did better was because it had more saves than likes, whereas the post on the left only had 3 saves. That's because it was just a text announcement post, whereas the one on the right was a visual post and people wanted to come back to it. Also, a lot of people who save your post are probably other creators who are trying to uh, get ideas for themselves as well. But any engagement is good engagement, really. So yeah, for me, like using post insights every about 24 to 48 hours afterwards to check has this got in front of as many people as I'd like, and then comparing it to. I think once you start checking it over a certain amount of days, you get to know what roughly the ballpark figures are for a good post and a bad post based on your account. And then obviously you want to look at which posts did best, and then keep kind of using that design and that theme that you did um, to keep growing. Your professional dashboard as well, you can access, and then it just gives you a bit more information about your audience. For example, my audience there on the right is most active at 3 p.m. So it's best to post at 3 p.m. to get as many people to see the post as possible. But yeah, your dashboard shows you lots of other things as well, which can be quite helpful. But yeah, a really good tool to use. So how do you come up with new ideas every day? Especially, I think, because you want to be posting nearly every day, it can be quite hard to think of new ideas. For me, I like to scroll through other pages, see which posts were their best performing, and then basically save them for when I need a new idea. And obviously, you don't want to steal any other people's content without permission. Um, so what you can do is kind of repurpose it with your own unique perspective and give credit if it's based on someone else's post. But if you add your own kind of unique design, then I think that's a good way to kind of post something which you already know is done well for someone else. So it should, in theory, kind of be a good post for you as well. If it's if it's something that's gone viral, whether it's like a trending topic or just something that's been designed in a unique way. Using your dashboard as well, you can see your top performing posts from the past night. I think you can see back 2 years on your best posts. So sometimes if you need a new idea, you can kind of redesign something you did before. And there's no harm in that, I think, because as time goes on, people won't remember your old posts, especially if your followings just continue to grow. Optimizing your profile, I think the main thing is having a strong brand that people recognize as being unique to you. So that means having a color which is consistent through your profile, through your highlight covers, through your posts, backgrounds, your website. And I think as well having a picture of yourself, or even if you want to stay anonymous, like some sort of avatar or Bitmoji or AI generated picture of yourself, it will distinguish you as a more of a personal brand that people can recognize as you rather than a general theme page, because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of theme pages out there. But theme pages they're a lot harder to monetize than a personal brand. I think with a personal brand, people are putting their trust in somebody rather than something that's anonymous. For your bio, it's good to have a very quick description of who you are and how you can help people, just so they have a reason why they should follow you. And then so you're converting them. So obviously, when you're designing posts to go viral, a small percentage of people are going to click onto your profile, and you want to convert them to followers. There's a couple pages I like in terms of their designs and their profile pictures. It's very clean, professional, and yeah, I think they're using different colors, but they're consistent with how they use them. So how do you make money on Instagram? I think from the people I've spoken to, and I think from my own experience, like at the moment, ebooks are just a waste of time, to be honest. It, in theory, sounds like it shouldn't be hard to charge $10 for something, but it is actually very difficult to get people to part way with $10, especially when there's so much information out there for free. I think obviously a lot of people are using AI to write ebooks as well. And even if you do sell an ebook for $20, $25, it's not going to replace your full-time income unless your page has millions of followers. It's just not really sustainable because I think as well, like if I release an ebook on a specific subject, maybe 10 people will buy it today, but then after the launch has already happened, the sales will be very slow because the people who were interested in that topic or either they've already bought it or they've already decided that they're not interested. So there's only so much you can promote it, I think. Some ways I've heard and seen that definitely work from everyone I've spoken to, because I think the main thing or the main way that people make money is by offering something where you're sharing your experience of something that you've achieved that other people want to achieve as well, whether that's you know how to start investing your money, and people want to jump on a one-to-one call with you. You could even do it for free to begin with, and then say, if you want to go into more detail, I'll coach you one-to-one. I'll hold you accountable. I'll track your progress. I'll help you along the way, but it will come at a fee. I think that's one of the best ways to make money on Instagram at the moment. It's providing free value to show that you know what you're talking about, and then charging something down the line if people are more interested in working with you one-to-one. There's a few other ways as well that can work, like sponsored posts with brands. This probably is only worth doing once you get to about 3 or 4 thousand followers, and it would require you to do a lot of outreach to different companies which you think would work with you. Sometimes because my page, for example, I haven't really have received a lot of interest, but when I've emailed companies, they've been quite keen once I've heard about my numbers, which I'm doing. But also, I think I'm reluctant to do sponsored posts myself because I would only want to do it with a company which I actually use myself. Obviously, I think if you do sponsor posts too often, it looks a bit disingenuous. Creating a monthly fee, like a private community, is quite good. Affiliate marketing, it depends on the product. I think building your email list as well is important for affiliate marketing, and that would mean providing something for free, whether it's like a newsletter or a guide. But yeah, I think these are the main ways that people can make money at the moment on Instagram. Engaging with other accounts, collaborative posts. It's an interesting feature. I think it would be worth doing if someone wants to do a collab post with you and they've got a bigger following than you, it's definitely worth it. Although sometimes the feature doesn't really push your post as much as is possible. But I think building relationships with other pages is important regardless. So whether it's like story shout outs, anything where you can capture the attention of someone else's following if they're in the same niche as you is good. It's good exposure. And obviously engaging with your own community, I think if you can reply to every DM, it's a great way to build trust. I try to reply to every comment. Sometimes it takes a lot of time because a lot of my posts have hundreds of comments. But I think if someone leaves a comment on your page and they see that you've actually taken the time to kind of answer their questions, they're more likely to stick around and continue to kind of engage with you. I think Instagram stories, it's a good way to show your kind of behind the scenes as well as like build excitement for an upcoming post or event. But always make sure that Instagram stories do best when there's an engaging element, whether it's like a sticker or a poll or something. How often should you post? For me, I used to post 6 times a week, which I think is pretty normal for most pages. But I recently started doing about 8 to 9 posts per week, and I saw a massive spike in my growth. But it does also take up a lot of time posting multiple times a day. So it just depends on how much time you can put into content creation. I think I wouldn't recommend posting more than twice per day. I think at that point it's not going to impact your growth. Some of the mistakes to avoid, and I've started an account before where I've used the service to basically follow and unfollow people, but it absolutely ruined the engagement rate. I think as well, some people say when they want to achieve growth, they say, "Oh, why don't I just buy 1,000 followers?" And then people will believe that all of my posts are. People will trust me more if they see I've got more followers. But I think that is the worst thing you can do, really, because if you buy followers, they're going to be botted accounts and they're not going to like or comment. So you could have 3,000 fake followers, but maybe 10 people will like your post. I mean, that just looks really suspicious. So I would say never buy followers. Never buy fake engagement as well. People will tell that it just doesn't look right. Um, I'd say avoid posting long text-based posts. Uh, yeah, make your content interesting. Don't pressure yourself to achieve results quickly. I think with any platform, the biggest creators are going to be the people who just stuck with it the longest. Like it took me over a year to get any results. So um, I think people maybe start new accounts and maybe give up quite quickly sometimes because it doesn't come as quickly as they thought. But yeah, it might take you it, it might take you up to a year to start seeing results, but you just have to stick with it. Don't take any negative comments to heart. I think um, like I've had posts before which have gone viral and had lots of bad DMs and comments, but I could have deleted the posts, but actually it benefits me to leave them up because it just brings more attention to the page. As long as the post isn't offensive or misleading. Obviously there's no such thing as bad publicity, so I think if you're getting hate comments, you're probably doing something right. So yeah. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if you guys want to drop any questions. Yeah, just kind of go through the main things. I think the main thing like I found with running my page is like tracking performance has helped me learn a lot about what posts do the best. And I'd recommend anyone who's like looking to grow their page just um, uh, like create a simple template like this. Write down um, how many people your posts are reaching, depending on what type of post it is, and then you can kind of stick with what works best. If something's not working, then just test something new. If you know, I think just keep testing, keep testing. Um, yeah. Do you have any other tips for inspiration for content? Um, I think if I'm looking for inspiration, I like to go onto the explore page, um, and just keep scrolling through until, or even if I'm obviously for me I'm in the finance niche. If I go on the hashtag personal finance and just keep scrolling through until I um, find something that I think's interesting that maybe I've not covered before, and then I'll just save it. And then by saving lots of posts, if I ever struggle for ideas, I can just go through all of my saved posts, and then as well, I think if I'm really struggling for ideas, what you can do is just go on ChatGPT and uh, say that you're a content creator in X niche. Can you come up with 10 unique post ideas? And if you don't like them, you can just keep regenerating it until you find a post idea that you like. So um, yeah, I think that's my ways of. It is quite hard when you post regularly to keep thinking of new ideas. I think sometimes, like if I leave it to the last minute, it can be a bit stressful. But if you batch your post ideas, say every Sunday, create a plan of what topics you want to cover this week ahead. Um, it will remove a lot of the stress of trying to think of it last minute. Yeah, cool. Any other questions before I've got a very quick sales pitch? Um, if you guys found this all helpful, um, I want to take on a very small few people to kind of work one to one to implement all of these things and review kind of your current content, suggest improvements, test and try out different content designs, and then yeah, kind of help you make money on Instagram as well. I think manage another account and pre-plan the content. Yeah, I think it's weird because when you start posting so often, you there's only so many things you can talk about before you have to start kind of going back on things you've done before. Um, but there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to keep thinking of unique ideas. Um, I like to I just save all of the good posts which I like, and then if I need ideas, scroll through. Um, have you seen other patterns on which works converting new visitors into followers? I think obviously having a call to action, or they're called CTAs, which is basically something that encourages someone to do something as a result of. So let's say uh, this post here in the caption, the first line of the caption could be um, follow for more daily content, or it could be like save this post for future reference. Because if this post gets in front of like 500,000 people, um, even if a small percentage of people click on your account, that's still a lot of people. Um, Obviously, having a bio that shows people why they should follow you. Your bio could say something like, follow me for daily content on X topic. Um, yeah, I think as long as you provide content which people find helpful, you'll get people following you. But I wouldn't also. I think the amount of followers you have is a bit of a vanity metric in that people think it's the be all end all of your page success is like how many followers you have. But there's pages out there which have 100,000 followers and are totally inactive, have no engagement. And there's pages which have 1,000 followers, which the owners of the page are making lots and lots of money because their community is super engaged. And so yeah, I wouldn't. I think the number of followers you have doesn't mean you're guaranteed success or you're doing better than anyone else. I think it's just it's just another metric to show like how many people been in front of. I know like a lot of my followers uh, have come from a small percentage of viral posts which I've had. Um, like my two best performing posts, which reached like 3 million people, are the main driver of people that follow me at the moment. So, um, yeah, I think just creating posts which are kind of tailored for the explore page will help with just get new people to follow you. Deleting followers, I think that's a good idea, but yeah, I think as you get bigger, it becomes impossible to delete every follower because I think as well, obviously in our space, in the business space, it's inevitable that you're going to get scam and bot accounts, and there's nothing you can do about it because they're just targeting people who have followers who are interested in money. And if I was to go through and delete every scam account that follows me, I would be there for days. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's just endless amounts of them, unfortunately.